The Austin City Council will soon have some new faces. Who will join the council and who will remain on the dais? Plus, President Joe Biden spoke to the nation what he had to say about the election outcome and the upcoming transfer of power.
I'll be keeping an eye on the radar today. We could be getting some severe storms in the Austin area. Time in for your cold front and weekend forecast on First Warning Weather.
In-depth, investigative. This is KXAN News at Noon.
Thanks for being with us. I'm Will Dupree. The chair of the Texas Democratic Party announced he will resign after the party suffered sweeping losses during Tuesday's elections. In a lengthy statement, Gilberto Hinojosa said voters sent a clear message that they do not support the party's current stances on issues like the economy. He also said, quote, "In the days and weeks to come, it is imperative that our Democratic leaders across the country reevaluate what is best for our party and embrace the next generation of leaders." Hinojosa led the state's Democratic Party for 12 years. He said he'll step aside in March. That's also when Texas Democrats will meet to decide who will be the next to lead the party statewide. The Austin City Council talked zoning and liquor licenses at its meeting this week. As KXAN's Grace Reeder explains, there are now going to be new leaders voting on things that impact you.
Thursday's Austin City Council meeting marked one of the last times this dais will see this group of people, after Austinites voted on several new city council members Tuesday. But first, here's what's not going to change. Council members Natasha Harper Madison, Jose Velasquez, Ryan Alter, Paige Ellis, and Zoe Caudry were not up for re-election. City council elections are staggered, so the entire council doesn't turn over at one time. Meanwhile, council members Vanessa Fuentes and Chito Vela held on to their seats. They'll be back for another 4 years. But here's where the changes start.
My primary motivation in running is to bring more effective city services to District 6.
That's Krista Lane. She unseated the only Republican-leading member of the city council, Mackenzie Kelly, and is projected to take the District 6 seat.
Whether that means the lights staying on, maybe some repairs to the water mains, that sort of thing. 911 response times have been a consistent issue.
In District 7, Mayor Pro Tem Leslie Poole has done 2 terms and is done. The race to fill her seat is projected to end up in a runoff. State rules limit the runoff to 2 candidates, so District 7's final candidates are Mike Siegel and Gary Bledsoe. If you live in D7, you'll have to go back to the polls to vote on this race again in December. And finally, District 10. Same deal here with Councilmember Allison Alter, who is leaving the seat after 2 terms. That one will be filled by Mark Duchin, who is projected to have ousted his opponent Tuesday night.
More public safety, that's been the #1 issue in this campaign. It's going to involve listening to neighborhoods and homeowners and businesses for land use issues.
Grace Reeder, KXAN News.
Police in Austin plan to update us today about a deadly shooting involving officers. This happened at a Northwest Austin apartment complex yesterday. Police Chief Lisa Davis says a man carjacked 2 vehicles from the 4 Points shopping plaza about 5 minutes from the MAA Canyon Creek apartments. Officers then tracked the suspect to those apartments, saying he kicked down the door of one unit. That's when police tried to stop him, but they said that he shot at them. Officers fired back, killing him.
This is a tragic situation for all involved here, but again, this was a situation that none of us like to see and law enforcement see occur.
Those who live in that apartment complex say it's unusually pretty quiet there. Austin police are also investigating the city's 57th homicide. It happened at about 6 last night. Police responded to the East US 290 service road in East Austin. That's just past I-35. When they got there, police say they found a victim with obvious signs of trauma. They tried to save that person's life, but the victim died at the hospital about a half hour later. Police have not yet found the person responsible. However, detectives say they believe that this is an isolated incident with no threat to the public. No details on the suspect or the victim are being released out of respect for the families, according to police. They are urging anyone with information to contact the police department.
First Warning Weather.
Coming up on 12:04 this afternoon, we are showing you a live picture of DKR Texas Memorial Stadium there at the UT campus. And Tommy, I know that a lot of fans of the Longhorns are getting ready for game day tomorrow, and what will come with that is very nice weather too.
Yeah, exactly right. Thanks, Will. Yeah, temperatures will be pretty cool and substantially nicer than where they are right now. We're feeling the humidity and the heat. Here's our domain shot by Indeed. Skyline in the distance. We had a few low-level clouds this morning. Sunshine is beginning to build in, which is great. But looking at these current temperatures, I mean, we're about 10 degrees warmer than where we should be. You can see where the cold front is out toward Mason. It's 60 degrees out there at this hour. Send some of that cool air our way. You can see we're 7 degrees cooler where that front is compared to where we were yesterday. 8 degrees warmer in Austin, where we're seeing a lot of that heat. Warm front to our north. Few light showers around the Houston metro area east of Austin. Those are coming in off the Gulf. And there's our cold front west of I-35 beginning to approach Mason and Gillespie County and Llano County. You see a few lightning strikes there just to the north and west of both Llano and Fredericksburg. Some of these cells could be severe. I think most likely it's very low chance that happens, but overall rain coverage across the next 18 hours in Austin between, let's say, 4 and 8 o'clock. That's when we have the most elevated chance for rain, but besides that, things are looking rather dry overnight. Where's the rain? We'll continue to look at the radar and provide updates for you there. A cold front is coming through, so the timing for that, when will temperatures drop in your weekend and Veterans Day forecast, that's all coming up in just a bit.
Tommy, thanks so much. We are 73 days from the inauguration of President-elect Donald Trump. The White House is promising a smooth transition as the incoming president starts picking some of his personnel. Washington correspondent Maddie Beertemple reports on President Biden's message to Americans as a new administration takes shape.
President Joe Biden addressed the nation Thursday, telling Americans there will be a peaceful transfer of power on January 20th.
We accept the choice the country made.
President Joe Biden addressed Americans for the first time since the election.
I spoke with President-elect Trump to congratulate him on his victory.
He said Vice President Kamala Harris should be proud of her campaign and gave a message of hope.
Setbacks are unavoidable, but giving up is unforgivable.
President-elect Donald Trump, meanwhile, is making moves for his new administration. He named his campaign manager, Susie Wiles, as his chief of staff. The White House says it's ready to help with the transition.
We want to have an effective, efficient transition of power, and so we are ready to provide that.
As the president-elect picks out his cabinet, he'll have a Republican Senate to work with. The party now has 53 seats in the upper chamber after Republican Dave McCormick beat Democratic Senator Bob Casey in Pennsylvania.
We're going to hit the ground running.
Republican South Dakota Senator John Thune says the Senate will be ready to help the president-elect confirm a cabinet.
We're going to help him get his team in place quickly so that they can get to work right away.
Several congressional races are still in the air, so it's not exactly clear at this time which party will hold power in the House. In Washington, I'm Maddie Beertemple.
President-elect Donald Trump is talking to NBC News about one of his priorities when he takes office, his deportation plan. He gave an off-camera interview to the network. NBC asked about the logistics of a mass deportation. Trump said his goal is to make the border, quote, strong and powerful. He also said, quote, it is not a question of a price tag. He went on to say, quote, we have no choice. Immigration enforcement officials told NBC back in July that a mass deportation effort would be a huge challenge, and sheriffs along the Texas border have told KXAN in the past that very same thing. Republicans have made some major progress in South Texas this year, winning most of the border region for the first time in decades. Starr County, for one, flipped red for the first time in 128 years. Donald Trump won 14 of the 18 counties along the border. It's a shift that Senator Ted Cruz called a generational change. It comes after years of investment from Republican groups to gain ground in those historically Democratic strongholds. Many are wondering, though, is this an anomaly or will the trend stick?
You know, it's going to take a couple more cycles to make a reasoned judgment about what the long-term consequences are here. To see what the trend looks like. But that said, I mean, it's completely understandable and, you know, justifiable for Republicans to say that they broke through, you know, in these border counties.
In one of the most expensive races in the state, Adam Hinojosa flipped a longtime Democratic district in the Rio Grande Valley, giving Republicans another seat in the Texas Senate. Yesterday, state senators tackled a topic on the mind of a lot of people, making sure that every Texan can afford a home. State Comptroller Glenn Hagar gave senators a warning. He said Texas has a shortage of more than 300,000 homes.
The trend of decreasing affordability has been a concern for me, and I see it as one of the greatest threats to the Texas economic success in the years to come.
The chairman of the Senate Local Government Committee said Hagar's report, along with recent spikes in property appraisal values, shows the legislature needs to take action. Online right now, our digital reporter Cora Nees shows you what steps could be taken to improve affordability in Texas. Welcome back, everyone, and thanks again for joining us here on KXAN News at noon. We hope you're enjoying your Friday as we took a live look at the Circuit of the Americas out there. Some darker clouds are hanging around for just a little bit, peaks of blue every now and again. We'll get an update about what's in store for your weekend ahead coming up in just a few moments with Tommy House. A park in Central Texas is growing. Hutto is breaking ground on some renovations to its Central Park. Fritz Park lies northeast of Austin in Hutto. It's off Highway 79, just off State Highway 130. It was built back in 2006 and has not seen many updates in the past 18 years. Minimal renovations on the park began last year, but in the coming months, the city is looking to transform that area. KXAN's Dylan McKim is joining us live in Fritz Park this afternoon ahead of a ceremony. And Dylan, let's talk about what those upgrades could include.
Yeah, Will, you talk about transforming. It's going to look completely different once this is all said and done. These much needed updates coming to Fritz Park. Now, construction crews have already been out here relocating some of the trees to get in preparation to put all these new additions into the park. Let me show you some of the renderings we have that we were given from the city to show you what it kind of could look like in the finished product. There's a laundry list of things that are coming into this. We have a splash pad, a new skate park, a small stage, and a lawn near a pond, lighted walking trails, bigger playgrounds with shade, modern bathrooms, and even upgraded basketball courts. The project's going to cost $11 million and will be paid for by the voter-approved bond from 2018. It's a key project that's part of Hutto's capital improvement program.
It's a cherished part of our community. It's important to keep it safe, accessible, and inviting, and these upgrades will allow us to have more recreational opportunities, some more support healthier lifestyles, and create a welcoming space for all ages and abilities.
Now, the main section of the park, which I am standing in right now, it will be closed for the time it takes to finish this construction project. But the football field, the baseball field, the walking trails that surround the park, those are all still going to be open to the public as this continues on. Now, we're told that the park will fully reopen, fully renovated by fall of next year. And in a couple of hours, actually, they're going to start celebrating the groundbreaking ceremony at the pavilion behind me. They got their shovels out there, the loose gravel for the, of course, groundbreaking ceremony. The community is invited to come out and celebrate the joyous event. Reporting live here in Hutto, Dylan McKim, KXAN News.
First warning weather with meteorologist Tommy House.
Hey, happy Friday, everyone. Let me take you to Llano County. Look at the darkened clouds on the horizon there. Wow. I mean, we're going to have some showers moving through Llano County in the next hour or so, eventually working their way to Austin. And here's the cold front that's going to push its way through Central Texas. So let's paint a picture to the temperatures here. 80s. That's going to be the name of the game in our area, at least for most of the afternoon hours. But look at the huge temperature contrast. 60s in Mason County. And that cold front's going to slide its way through Travis County between 4 and 6 p.m. And with that, temperatures will drop pretty substantially just like that. And overnight toward places like San Saba, Llano could get down to the upper 40s. At least in our area, low 60s. We'll take it compared to where we were this morning. Gusty at times with that front up to 20 miles per hour. But, you know, in those cells, that's where I'm concerned about the damage and when we'll get to those impacts in just a second. But here's the radar right now. There's nothing in Austin along the I-35 corridor. A few showers to the east toward Giddings and LaGrange. And there's the line of strong showers, maybe a lightning strike here or there. We've been tracking that toward Fredericksburg and Llano County, and these cells will continue to slide in a linear structure toward the east in the coming few hours. Level 1 out of 5 for severe weather for our area up north toward Waco and portions of northeastern Texas. A level 2 out of 5, and let's talk about when this cold front's going to work its way through. Between around 4 and 6 p.m. in our area east of I-35, 6 to 9 p.m. a few of these cells could be severe. Again, it's going to be pretty rare we're going to see some severe weather out of this, but it's not zero. So we still have to talk about the impacts. Rainfall, when it's all said and done, up to 1/2 inch is some of the higher amounts that I'm seeing. I think most likely 1/4 of an inch is more realistic. And looking at the specific severe weather threats, very low tornado chance, hail, mostly concerned with the damaging winds if a cell becomes severe, and some localized flooding and some heavier rainfall. So for high school football, I'd keep an umbrella and rain jacket close by if you have any sort of plans between 6 and 9 p.m. Same idea. We'll have some showers with temperatures cooling down and fluctuating in the upper 60s. Saturday, 75. How about that? We're going to have a rare morning shower with some afternoon sunshine. Sunday, 80 degrees with more sunshine than clouds. And for Texas football, Florida's coming to town, 11 o'clock kickoff, and we'll have winds out of the north and west, a bit more chilly in comparison to where we stood last weekend and the weekend before that in the Austin area. High temperature trend by Saturday, bit cooler. Then we're returning to the 80s come Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Another cold front could creep its way on through Wednesday into Thursday. But besides today, your next 7 days are looking mostly dry with temperatures in the upper 70s, low 80s.
Here in Central Texas, you may not be aware that more than 50,000 people are living with Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis, also known as IBD. A local foundation is not only providing support to them, but also working toward finding a cure. 1 week from today, you can help out the cause by raising a glass. We're going to talk about more about that now. Joining us today is Catherine Wicker and Pat Hilburn. Pat is the executive director of the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. Welcome to you both. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
We appreciate it very much. Catherine, I want to start with you, though. For people who may not be aware of what Crohn's and colitis do to someone, can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was diagnosed with these diseases on my second day of kindergarten, and they are digestive diseases, but they impact you not just by going to the bathroom. They can impact weight, mental health issues because you're in and out of the hospital, and they start from your mouth all the way through your digestive tract. Symptoms can include diarrhea, bleeding, urgency to go to the bathroom, things that people don't want to talk about. So even though so many people like you listed here in Central Texas live with it, it's often a disease that no one talks about because of embarrassment.
And Pat, because the foundation is specifically working to help people like this, what kinds of support and services are you all able to provide?
Yeah, because these diseases known as inflammatory bowel diseases are lifelong chronic diseases, the foundation tries to walk through this journey with every single patient. So we provide support groups, education for both patients and healthcare providers. We have Camp Oasis, which is for all school-age children. They get to go off for a week for camp and be around peers while also being under the care of doctors and nurses. Financial support, we do research, advocacy at the state and local level, so everything we can to impact their full journey.
I'm so glad you mentioned Camp Oasis too, because I was reading about that earlier, and that's such an amazing resource for people. Turning the page just a little bit, we want to talk about the benefit that you are going to have next Friday. This is called the Craft Cocktail Competition. Sounds pretty fun. How much is that set to help out the foundation and its work that it's doing?
It's very impactful, not only for the research and the things that we fund, but also our local patients like Catherine. So we really try to raise those funds, bring awareness to the community. Because these diseases are very isolating, many people don't talk about it, they don't know about it, and 1 in 100 Americans suffers with IBD. So we're really hoping this event brings a lot of awareness and funds to supporting the cause.
And question to both of you, what kinds of things will be there at the event? Tell us a little bit about that.
It will be so much fun. So we will have each of our competitors will handcraft a very unique cocktail that's signature to this event, and we'll have judges that will get to vote on that, and also all of our patrons will get to select their People's Choice Award, and we will announce the winners at the end of the night. It's also going to be a 1920s speakeasy prohibition theme, so everybody wear their flapper dresses, fedoras, feathers. We'll have a lot of games, activities, silent auction, just a lot of fun, even for people who don't know about who we are and what we do.
Yeah, and if anybody's interested in going, where should they go to find ticket information?
Yeah, they can visit our website. They can purchase tickets there, learn a little bit more about our competitors and our judges and the fun that we're going to have that night on our website.
Well, Pat and Catherine, we appreciate both of you coming in today and talking about this, and hopefully this will be a great success for you all.
I'm looking forward to it.
We're sure it will.
Yeah, all right, well, happy Friday, and thanks again for joining us.
Thank you.
And we will be right back after this.
In-depth, investigative. This is KXAN News at Noon.
Racist text messages popping up across the country are now showing up here in Central Texas. It's a warning for parents about what might be on your child's phone. We do want to warn you as well, the messages are disturbing, and KXAN's Barrett Tryon tells us what's being said and what's now being done to stop them from happening.
When she sent that text message to me, I was terrified. I was like, oh my God, why would somebody, I couldn't understand why somebody would send that.
Sharon Herring still in disbelief over this, a disturbing text sent to her 13-year-old granddaughter. You've been selected to become a slave at your nearest plantation, it reads. Please be ready by 12 a.m. with all your necessary belongings. You'll be picked up in a white van with a Trump representative in your area. It goes on to say, you are in slave group B.
I feel like we were targeted because we were Democrats. Because how would they know that?
It appears she is not alone.
Anybody happened to get any weird messages or strange messages? And a student said, yeah, I got one that said something about you're going to get deported.
Teacher Sean Hinton with Austin ISD says he shared this message with his students' permission. It says they'll be picked up in a brown van and are in deportation group A3.
It was pretty terrifying for my granddaughter. She's still feeling kind of scared and worried about it.
The FBI says they are aware of the texts. In a statement posted on social media, the agency said it's aware of the texts being sent around the country and is in contact with the Justice Department and other agencies on the matter.
Parents to be more aware of our children's phones and social media apps that they're on, just to monitor your children closely, because you never know if this type of thing could happen again.
One message most of us can agree on. In Austin, Barrett Tryon, KXAN News.
The FBI is also reminding you that if you are physically threatened, to report that to local law enforcement. Adding some depth now, according to the U.S. Department of Justice, last year more than half of the single bias hate crimes reported were motivated by race or ethnicity. That was followed by religion at over 22%. Sexual orientation was around 18%. Gender identity at just over 4%. Disability at about 1.5%, and then gender at less than 1%. In the Texas Panhandle, voters in Amarillo rejected a measure to tighten restrictions on abortion there. The ordinance would have made it illegal for anyone seeking an abortion to drive through the city. People accused of violating the ordinance could have faced lawsuits. Supporters tried to get members of the Amarillo City Council to adopt that ordinance. When that failed, they were able to put the proposition on the ballot for the voters to decide. However, the voters said no.
Read the ordinance, listen to what we had to say, and understand at the end of the day, this is a restriction on your right to bodily autonomy, freedom of speech, medical privacy, and right to interstate travel.
Supporters of that ordinance say they'll keep pushing for ways to stop what they call abortion trafficking.
We're going to fight for unborn children, but we're also going to fight for women who are the victims of abortion abuse. Women who don't really want abortion, but they're being pressured to get abortion by men who are trying to force them to get those abortions.
The results from that election showed 59% of Amarillo voters rejected that ordinance. Supporters vowed to elect new council members who would support future efforts to pass it. The city of Austin is moving forward with another effort to help people seeking an abortion out of state. Yesterday, council members approved an agreement with a local organization called Jane's Due Process. Under that agreement, the city would help with travel, case management, and other services. If negotiations continue, the agreement would last through next September. The cost would not exceed $100,000. Looking in depth, the Texas Attorney General's office sued Austin in September for using city funds on a reproductive health grant. The city's upcoming budget provides $400,000 for people in Austin traveling for abortion care. The Attorney General's office said the city is illegally using taxpayer dollars. At the time, Austin said it was ready to take that lawsuit to court.
First warning weather.
It's now 12:34 on your Friday afternoon. We're taking a live look in downtown Austin, and there you can see the Longhorn Stadium lit up in the sunlight there. We have a break, Tommy, it looks like, from all that cloud coverage we've seen all day.
Yeah, that's right. I could have put the camera anywhere, but DKR tomorrow at 11 o'clock. I'm like, come on. People are excited for Texas football. It's going to be a great day then. We have a day of rain to get through, though. We have some showers working toward places like Gillespie County. So here's Fredericksburg. Look at the darkened clouds on the horizon. We have some winds gusting up to 20 miles per hour in that cold front, substantially dropping temperatures. Mason County now 8 degrees cooler than where they were 24 hours ago. That's from the front, 8 degrees warmer. In Austin, we're about 20 degrees warmer out the door today than where we should be. We had lows in just the low 70s at 72 degrees at Camp Mabry. You can see where the front is. Wow, I mean, from 50s in Richland Springs, Mason 60, compared to Horseshoe Bay or Marble Falls at 83 degrees. That's a 23, 24 degree difference there. 82 at the airport, 80 at Pflugerville. East of I-35, 80 sprinkled in with a few upper 70s here and there. We're all going to warm back up to right around 83 to 85 today with those winds out of the south ahead of our cold front. Some lightning strikes out toward Mason and Gillespie and up toward San Saba. That's going to push its way toward the east. We'll be continuing to keep an eye on these showers west of 281 approaching Johnson City in the next half hour. Rain coverage for Austin itself between 4 and 6 p.m. That's when the front will swing on through, so we'll be talking about that. I'll keep an eye on the radar throughout the afternoon hours today. There is a level 1 out of 5 for severe weather. We'll explain those specific threat elements of what I think could happen. Also talking about when those temperatures will drop. Your Saturday forecast is looking nice and crisp. We'll have your game day forecast and talk about your Veterans Day. What could we be expecting for the first half of next week? That's all coming up in just a bit.
Tommy, thanks so much. A project in downtown Austin could mean some big changes for people who live and work around the state capitol. KXAN's Nabil Ramadna updates us on the plans to transform Congress Avenue.
One day these cars on Congress Avenue could be gone. The roads replaced with a large green space for people to gather.
I think having something like a plaza, mind you, making sure that we're taking care of the businesses around us, would be great for foot traffic.
Michael Jewell works downtown. He says he likes the idea, but not everyone does.
My first reaction was, how did we get this far?
Eddie Safety lives and works in the area. He's worried about the businesses and less parking. And of course, traffic.
The more that you do to restrict the avenues in which you can get around, the more it dissuades people to want to come here.
If a plaza is built, vehicular access along Congress Avenue would end just north of 7th Street, creating an open plaza for pedestrians. But east-west cross traffic would still continue on 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th Streets.
So I think there's a big opportunity here to change the way people travel on Congress.
Anna Martin with the Transportation and Public Works Department says the inspiration for the project came from the Texas Capitol Mall. But these two areas are much different, and that's why her department is looking to find out what Austinites and businesses think about it.
How do I receive deliveries? Where do people park? Things like that. And we've been working one-on-one with all of those business owners.
That feedback playing a part in how the area could look in the future.
I mean, obviously, there's going to be a balance that needs to be found.
How many locals is this truly going to benefit on a daily basis as to how many thousands is it going to inconvenience?
Nabil Ramadna, KXAN News.
If you would like to add your feedback to that plan, we have a link showing you how you can do that in the story at KXAN.com. Going in depth, the Texas Capitol Mall is on the north side of the state capitol, leading to the UT campus. Last year, Congress Avenue between 16th Street and Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard became a public space with grass and walkways. It will also be used for future events. That was just phase 1, though. The full project is expected to be completed in late 2026. An upgraded facility is coming to one Austin school. This morning, Austin ISD held a groundbreaking celebration for the Travis Early College High School. Upgrades to that building will include flexible learning spaces, improvements to traffic flow, modernized athletic space, as well as expanded mental health facilities and community spaces. Faculty members say this groundbreaking is more than just the opening of a new facility. It's laying the foundation for opportunities, growth, and innovation.
This is not just a new building. This is a symbol of our shared commitment to the progress and to the future. Over the next 3 years, as our space begins to take shape, we will continue to build on the rich legacy of Travis while embracing the new and exciting opportunities that do lie ahead. Together, we will create the environment where all students can thrive and reach their full potential.
That campus is expected to open in fall of 2028.
There's not enough people out there enforcing safety.
Yesterday, we showed you a KXAN investigation that dug into safety concerns at Austin's growing airport after 2 workers died last year. Now, KXAN investigator Avery Travis looks into how staffing challenges and vacancies could impact safety and what the city's Department of Aviation is doing about that.
Flying through Austin's airport, it's clear it's busier than ever. You may see it in the parking lots and security lines, but just outside the windows, between the terminal and the runway, to the area called the apron.
It's the one part of the airport where there are people, vehicles, and airplanes with engines running, all mixing together.
One former airport employee with knowledge of operations out there agreed to speak with KXAN about their concerns. We verified their credentials, but they asked to remain anonymous.
Every day feels like things are hanging by a thread. That group is just so overwhelmed, so underpaid, so understaffed.
They're talking about the team that's responsible for airside operations, as well as compliance with federal regulations and safety monitoring on the apron. Right now, the airport says it is meeting its minimum staffing standards, with 2 people during the day and at least 1 at night.
We've met the minimum. How do we exceed that? In some cases we are, but we know there's a lot of work to come.
According to staffing data provided by the airport, it is trying to fill a 30% vacancy rate on the airside operations team. That's far higher than the roughly 17% rate for the aviation department as a whole.
Why do you think that particular division has struggled to fill those vacancies? We have to offer them something that makes it worth leaving the airport that they're at to come join us in Austin. And the biggest thing that's been inhibiting us from doing that is not offering competitive pay.
Sam Haynes with the city's aviation department says it's trying. The budget for fiscal year 2024 reflects increased pay for several positions and a few new positions, including some managerial ones.
So it's not just about filling the vacancies, it's about bringing the most talented, experienced, qualified people. And really what we're looking for is to bring others from large airports to help us grow this airport into a large one ourselves.
We've raised it multiple times and we've been told it was being looked at, but we haven't seen it, and we continue to see the vacancies.
Still, some city leaders expressed concerns just last month following a special risk assessment report released by the city auditor's office. It noted, quote, the increases in passenger numbers and staffing challenges have made it hard for aviation staff to effectively manage and maintain its existing assets. That report also named emergency management and safety as some of the top risks for the department, saying limited resources may result in efforts being reactive. KXAN asked the airport about records showing dozens of violations noting safety issues on the apron in recent years, and about whether there should be stronger enforcement. Haynes emphasized violations are not the only way the airport hopes to encourage a culture of safety. And she also said a new safety management system being implemented over the next few years will help them better collect data and document trends.
So it's a combination of using tools to track data and developing those trusting relationships so that people feel comfortable and confident coming forward to speak about incidents that occurred.
But that former employee still worries about how and where any new responsibilities will land.
The solution is more people who can address the safety issues in the way that they're supposed to.
One of those new managerial positions we mentioned is a safety management system, or SMS manager, to oversee that program. The department is also trying to bring on an emergency management officer soon, too. Now, as for the increased pay for certain positions, Haynes said some positions under the higher pay scales are only just now going online for applicants. They hope to see the impact of that on vacancy rates soon as well. Avery Travis, KXAN Investigates.
The risk assessment from the city that Avery mentioned also noted that staffing challenges have caused the airport to rely on third-party contractors for certain work. That is the focus of a lawsuit filed by the family of a man who died after being hit by a fuel truck on the apron almost exactly a year ago. The lawsuit accuses the company who employed that fuel truck driver of negligence. Yesterday, we talked to this family and have the company's response. You can find that story on KXAN.com right now. Plus, how does Austin compare to other airports when it comes to safety efforts? Find that in the investigative section of our website.
First warning weather with meteorologist Tommy House.
Central Austin right now, mostly cloudy, few breaks of sunshine courtesy of our West Shore home camera. Temperatures are nice and warm in the 80s. Here's the big picture across Texas. We have everything going on in the Lone Star State. Few strong thunderstorms along a cold front. How about up toward the Panhandle west of Amarillo? Is that snow in Texas? Absolutely. That is crazy to think about. Here's the cold front right now with a few strong showers and storms along Mason, Llano, Gillespie County, cutting through Fredericksburg. Some of these may be severe in the coming few hours, moving from west to east by the evening. A level 1 out of 5 for severe storms across the Austin area, up north of Georgetown. Level 2 out of 5 north of Lampasas. Let's put a picture to all this. When will the front move through Austin? Well, by the afternoon between 4 and 6 p.m., you'll see these storms continue to push their way to the east, and they're going to kind of lose a little bit of momentum here, but overall, we could be getting a good shower in the Austin area. Not nearly as intense as what we had between Monday and Tuesday, but still, any rain is good. Clearing out tonight with winds shifting to the north, and your Saturday is looking mostly dry. When it's all said and done, one of the models here that we look at is putting out maybe up to a half an inch, at most an inch, but notice Austin under a 1/10 of an inch in this one model run through early Saturday morning. So every single drop counts. Let's hope we can get some good rain here for the lakes in our area. All right, let's put a picture to the temperatures as well. Let's play this out. Notice the huge contrast from the mid-80s in Travis County out towards San Saba, Mason, and Fredericksburg in the upper 60s. This will be a pretty strong and dense front as it cleans its way through, cooling us down. Temperatures out the door in places like Mason and Llano and San Saba could be in the upper 40s for your Saturday, low 60s in Austin. We'll take that because it was in the mid-70s out the door for today. So much cooler to kick off your Saturday. Could be gusty as well as the front swings through, up to 20, 25 miles per hour. So here are the severe elements. I think very low chance for any of these, but we have to keep an eye on the radar. Very low isolated tornadoes, hail, potential for some damage and winds that's 60 miles per hour or greater. And also in those pockets of heavy rain, watch out for some localized flash flooding. Your weekend forecast, 75 on Saturday, 80 degrees on your Sunday with mostly sunny skies. Texas football kicking off at 11 a.m. 68 for kickoff, 73 by halftime. Those winds will be out of the north and west, but will warm back up come Sunday, Monday. Veterans Day on Monday, 81 with mostly sunny skies, 82 on Tuesday. A next front moving through next Wednesday into Thursday, going back down to 73 maybe to close out the end of next week.
As we come up to the end of our show, it's really nice to be able to end the show and the work week with a little bit of something pretty out there.
Absolutely, yeah. Check this out. This sunset rainbow duo that was seen in El Paso yesterday morning. This video was taken right outside the National Weather Service office in Santa Teresa, northwest of El Paso. Wow, I mean, you add in the sunset and the vibrant colors. It's just, a perfect way to close out the day.
I mean, that is a gorgeous view, and I'm hoping that we're going to see a nice weekend ahead, too.
I know, I'm jealous of El Paso. They're in the 40s right now. But anyway, for us,
wow.
I had to bump up the high temp to 86 today. Yeah, I know it's looking a little bit warm, but we're going to cool back down Saturday, 75 degrees. We'll have some clouds in the morning, sunshine by the afternoon hours. Then Sunday, we're back up into the 80s for a few more days. And another cold front, though, which is great news to look forward to Wednesday into Thursday. So one day of rain, but once we get through that, pretty dry.
Yeah, nice to see some rain chances there and those temperatures there. That 73 on Saturday, that'll be so nice for the game.
Be very nice sweatshirt weather. I said beanies, and Tom was like, that's not beanie weather, but you know what? I'll wear a beanie.
That might be a little bit of a stretch, but do you.
It's something we're so hopeful for the cold. Maybe we'll have to wear winter clothing when it's not needed, but it's something.
But I'm looking at those temperatures, though. It's just going to keep warming up, at least for most of the work week next week.
It's a roller coaster. So like up and down, but
Fall in Central Texas.
Yep.
That's what we have to get used to. All right, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining us here on KXAN News at noon. We'll see you back here in about 30 minutes with more news and weather. Enjoy the rest of your Friday and your weekend. Take care.